Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday morning. Hey, how's it going, Dakapoli? Holly? Howdy. Alrighty. We've got a few headlines to go through. Let me go ahead and make sure we got everything here. Hey, Spread It Forward, how's it going? So, Delta variant super spreader event. The Sturgis motorcycle rally, which is apparently not stopped and allowed to continue, despite last year this rally alone contributed to quite the amount of cases, but you know. 2 weeks after, which is usually the incubation time or the time frame where we can start seeing the cases. 2 weeks after the annual motorcycle rally in Sturgis, South Dakota, reported COVID infections in the state have risen nearly sixfold. South Dakota counted 3,819 new cases in the past 2 weeks, including 7 deaths, up from 644 in the 14 days preceding it. Yeah, so from like 600-ish cases to 3,819. Yeah. That makes it the state with the largest percent increase in COVID cases in the past 2 weeks. Oh, I guess Florida got a break on that one. The state's rate of COVID-19 infections per capita in the past 2 weeks is in the bottom half of the country, but it's the sharp and sudden increase in the case count that sets it apart. Well, yeah, I mean, if you had like thousands of people gathering, and most of those folks probably are not vaccinated, and much less wearing masks. Yeah, that's what happens. Meade County, home to Sturgis, has counted 330 new cases in the last 2 weeks, up from the 20 reported in the 2 weeks before the rally, according to Johns Hopkins University case count. The 1,550% increase comes after the motorcycle rally, which usually draws around 500,000 people. Never mind, that's not a few thousand. It's a few hundred, it's hundreds of thousands of people. Jesus Christ. Possibly had its biggest year ever. Dr. Shankar Kura, the Vice President of Medical Affairs at the Monument Health, which operates hospitals serving western South Dakota, including one in Sturgis, said the events at this year's rally really feel like a replay of last year. Yeah, well, I mean, you got hundreds of thousands of people together, and safety precautions are optional. I mean, yeah. In June, Monument Health had 3 COVID patients, a pandemic low for hospitalizations, and Kura said he thought that number might drop to 0. Now the number is up to 58, about half of what it was in its peak in the winter. People in the hospital are younger, and almost 99.9% are unvaccinated. It is not the highest. It's not the highest it has ever been, but definitely at a number that puts us at a disadvantage. You have a strain on resources and a lot of stress on the health system to give timely care to non-COVID patients. This is what people don't, if people fail to like take into consideration. It's like, dude, it's not just about you. It's also the resources all of this is taking. And the folks who don't have any COVID-related emergencies or COVID-related health issues that need to be taken care of don't have a bed or don't have the resources necessary to be taken care of because people are selfish and irresponsible. It's too soon to know if the Sturgis rally, which began on August 6th and ended August 15th, had a direct effect on increase or can be classified as a super spreader event, but Meade County is now reporting a 36% positivity rate, with 1 in every 3 COVID tests returning a positive results. 82 cases in the county reported Tuesday had its highest daily number yet, eclipsing the 68 cases it reported on August 27th. Meade County has reported 3,168 cases, 31 deaths since the start of the pandemic, one of the lowest COVID case counts when adjusted for the populations among the state's 66 counties. So they were marginally, like, doing okay. Ish. Compared. From the onset of the pandemic, South Dakota has seen a higher per capita rate of infections than all but 2 states, North Dakota and Tennessee. Governor Kristi Noem, a Republican, has been firm in keeping South Dakota open through the pandemic, shunning mask mandates, criticizing public health officials like Anthony Fauci, and insisting on holding mass gatherings against CDC recommendations. On Monday, after the FDA granted full approval to the Pfizer's 2-dose COVID vaccine for people ages 16 and up, the governor tweeted that President Biden illegally mandates vaccines. Hey, Jai Bureaucrat, how's it going? Illegally mandates vaccines. I will take every action available under the law to protect South Dakotans from the federal government. Jesus Christ. Currently, 48.4% of South Dakota is fully vaccinated. Cool. In an email Tuesday, a South Dakota Department of Health spokesperson, Danielle Buccelli, said the spikes in COVID cases in the state are following a national trend experienced in every state. Regarding cases surrounding the Sturgis rally, your department has only been able to link 16 cases directly to this event. It is important to mention that Meade County currently has a lower vaccination rate than other counties in South Dakota. If you link 16 cases, you're going to have to multiply that. Each one of those cases creates, what, 2? On average, and then those 2 create 2, and then those 2, like, I don't know. it seems like it's the numbers are going to be exponentially higher. South Dakota is probably the worst state in the country. Don't ever go there. Are we in comparison to Florida, or how are we compared to Florida? A post-mortem of the 2020 Sturgis rally showed it led to widespread transmission in at least 25 other states. So like half the country. I can only imagine if this is the biggest event they've ever had. I can only imagine like what the numbers are gonna look like. Although the numbers of cases identified as sizable, 140 cases per 100,000 attendees, it's likely that the true national impact of Sturgis is underestimated. Well, yeah. Yeah, of course. A study written in part by the CDC citing asymptomatic cases, visitors not reporting rally attendance, and difficulties with contact tracing. True. While much of the rally is outdoors, another study was conducted on how the rally affected caseloads in neighboring Minnesota. It showed that the primary infection that could be traced appeared to occur indoors in a restaurant setting. Right, because these folks aren't just like sitting, like they're not just outside. They're not social distancing, and they are also going to restaurants in the local areas. So yeah. Wait, like the whole premise of this entire thing was if you have a lot of people in an enclosed area and there are like borderline zero safety measures or guardrails put in place, what did you think was going to happen? The Sturgis variant, correct. I mean, this isn't even just like limited to COVID. Like if you know that there's a if you know that there's a virus that spreads in this manner, that spreads that is aerosolized, the worst thing that you can do is have a lot of people confined in a small area with zero guardrails in place. The Sturgis virus, right. This year, the city of Sturgis took up steps to prevent indoor transmissions, like allowing outdoor wine and beer consumption if attendees brought a special cup. Wait. Okay. A spokesperson for the city did not respond for a request to comment. Yeah, I bet. I mean, like, why was... Okay. Now, however, the number of cases is not where Kura and his colleagues want it to be. It didn't help that you had a mass gathering event like the rally. No kidding. No kidding. I mean, like, what... Again, what did you expect was going to happen? Especially if, like, officials aren't taking it seriously and just saying, hey, you know what, this year? Do it next year. Huh. I thought I had another article on this, but okay. That's fine. Ivermectin being given to inmates at Washington County Jail. Washington County, Arkansas. During the Washington County Finance and Budget Committee meeting on August 25th, it was said that inmates at Washington County Jail were treated with ivermectin, an anti-parasite drug that is commonly used in livestock. Yeah. Yeah. That's a thing that happened. Washington County Justice of the Peace Eva Madison said a county employee was sent to Dr. Karras for testing. According to the county employee, they tested negative and were given a prescription of ivermectin. The county employee went to their primary care doctor, who said to throw it away. Yeah. Yeah, no shit. I sincerely hope there's an outbreak of roundworm in that jail. There isn't. This was prescribed specifically for the treatment of COVID. And luckily this wasn't an inmate. Somehow this lunatic decided to give a prescription to ivermectin to a county employee who had the option to go to their primary care doctor to kind of like be like, wait a minute, why did they give me this? Luckily, they had the capability to go to their primary care doctor and show them this. Thank you for the follow, Lunar. Don't some people with AIDS or cancer have to wear masks around people sometimes to protect their own immune systems? Yes. I believe so. Masks are generally speaking for other people, though. So I may be wrong on that, as to why they wear masks. How's it going, Dendera? Madison said the county should reevaluate who they're using at the jail. Yeah, no kidding. The employee had the good fortune of having a primary care physician to ask for a second opinion, and our inmates do not have the choice. Sheriff Tim Helder said during the meetings that Kara's Health has been an amazing partner for the jail during the pandemic. Yeah. Okay, but this is unacceptable. They're the ones who have been in the trenches in the middle of this COVID issue that we're dealing with. Sheriff Holder says, whatever a doctor prescribes that is not in my bailiwick, I haven't been to medical school. Okay, fine. Of course, you should trust doctors. Of course, you should trust the, the doctor, generally speaking. That's why you go to them. However, if the plurality of the medical field is saying X, and the one doctor is saying Y, you have to question the one doctor, not the other way around. That doesn't make any sense. If out of 10 doctors, 9 of them told you you had cancer, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, one of them told me I didn't. Like, wait, no. You would question why that one failed to diagnose you properly. This isn't rocket scientists, yeah, that we know of, Silver Night Dragon. But the question is bothering me. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. The sheriff said that during the meeting that only one person over 500 positives have been admitted to the hospital. Kara's Health made a Facebook post on July 16th stated in part, if anybody you know tests positive, send them our way and we'll get them started on Doxy, singular, ivermectin, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and do our best to keep them out of the hospital. If you want to keep them out of their hospital, we have proven COVID treatments. If it's already at the point where they need treatment, we have a variety of different proven treatments that we can use that is not ivermectin. Holy yikes. This is so bad. This is so bad. A comment was made on the post and Kara's Health responded, yes, we have been using ivermectin for prevention since January, and I restarted myself last week. The Federal Drug and the Federal Food and Drug Administration has warned against using the drug to treat COVID, saying the FDA has not approved ivermectin for use in treating or preventing COVID in humans. Ivermectin tablets are approved at very specific doses for some parasitic worms, and there are topical on-skin formulations for head lice, skin conditions like rosacea. Ivermectin is not an antiviral. Okay? I mean, yeah. So, okay. A lot of this ivermectin stuff started with with some previous studies showing that, hey, when you combine it with X, Y, and Z, and you start it early with X, Y, and Z, it actually works. However, those studies had to be retracted by the same people who made these studies because of medical malpractice. They did not have the confidence to back those results anymore because they found medical malpractice within those studies. That's what happened. That's what happened with the original studies regarding ivermectin. And furthermore, because people don't understand, and people decided to do their own, quote, research, they're starting to take ivermectin that is designed for livestock, not the human versions of it, but highly concentrated pills that are meant for livestock, and are getting messed up because of it. It's the same with the guy who decided to eat fish tank cleaner because it contained hydroxychloroquine. Like, no, dude. That's not... No. And mind you, they are studying ivermectin, okay? But they haven't made any type of breakthrough to make the determination that it is an effective treatment for COVID, okay? They are studying it. However, we have not seen anything conclusive or any indication that it has anything to offer when it comes to treating COVID. Holy yikes. Jesus, Chai Bureaucrat. I almost feel bad for them. I do feel bad for these people, because these people are victims. These people are victims from a mass amount of misinformation that's just being continuously pumped out. Because, like, these people are just trying, like, in their minds, as they're trusting the information that they got, because they, like, I don't know, they saw, like, this one post by somebody they trust, right? The ACLU has released a statement on the use of ivermectin at the Washington County Jail. No one, including incarcerated individuals, should be subjected to medical experimentation. True. 100%. Sheriff Holder has a responsibility to provide food, shelter, and safe, appropriate care to incarcerated people. True. The FDA has said the misuse of ivermectin for COVID can cause serious harm, including seizures, comas, and even death. The detention center's failure to use safe and appropriate treatments for COVID, in conjunction with Sheriff Holder's request to use COVID relief money to expand the jail, illustrates a larger systemic problem of mistreatment of detainees and over-incarceration in Arkansas that has persisted even in the midst of the pandemic. True. Washington County Sheriff Tim Helder confirmed that Caris Correctional Health has been prescribing the drug to jailed individuals at a quorum court finance and budget committee meeting. During the meeting, the sheriff presented his 2022 budget proposal, which asked for a 10% increase for the medical provider. Washington County received $23 million under the Federal American Rescue Plan and expects an equal amount this year. Sheriff Holder wants to use a portion of these funds to expand the jail. The ACLU of Arkansas has requested records from the Sheriff's Office and from Caris Correctional Medical related to jailed detainees and COVID precautions and care. I mean, like, this is beyond horrifying. You know, again, this is the employee who had the good fortune of kind of bringing this up to their primary care physician. If not, how would we even know about this? Is there such a thing as a mentality that a person must feel like they are unique or breaking the rules to feel self-worth or value? Yes. Because capitalism has stripped us of creative individual power, people latch onto odd ways of being unique. Yes, but I think that, maybe, hey, Peter Parker. I don't know. At the end of the day, these people are willfully ignorant, deny general reality, and in general just want to be proven right that the elite cabal, devil worshiping, child molesters are controlling everything and will not tell them the truth. Therefore, they must find it on their own. They will deny any logical evidence, even if it's against their fantastical narrative. And yeah, there are people like this. Yes, there's too many people like this. There are too much of a percentage of people like this. And it's not like some harmless, some harmless conspiracy theory or anything like that. This is actively creating harm. This is harming people. Hello, Peter. As of today, I am fully vaxxed. Had my second Moderna shot 2 weeks ago. I am super stoked for the No Way Home. For No Way Home. I saw that trailer. I was like, oh man, they brought back the original Doc Ock. There was I think there was like a small little Easter egg about the Green Goblin, the original Green Goblin, because those little pumpkin bombs look just like the original Green Goblin. I wonder if they'll bring back William Dafoe. I really hope so. Oh man, yes. The voice, yes. I'm so stoked. I can't, like, I'm so excited. I generally don't like to, like, go to movies, as, like, a premiere stuff. As a premiere, thing. Unless it's, like, I went to, like, the premiere for Star Wars. I went to the premiere weekend for Star Wars a couple of years ago. After that, I can't remember the last time I like really went to like a premiere for a movie, but this one has my attention. So for all of you, a quick story time. Spider-Man has been one of my favorite superheroes in terms of like the Marvel universe. So I always, since the original series, the Sony Tobey Maguire series, and I have always enjoyed the Spider-Man movies. And as a kid, I used to wake up for Saturday morning cartoons and watch The Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, it's Spider-Man has been there for quite some time. Alio with the resubscription, 10 months. Thank you so much. Daka Polyon with the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Even Stan Lee said once that Spider-Man is the greatest hero of all. True! I agree. The 5G is amazing. Spider-Man is like the image of the good hero. True. I hope they do some type of like enter the Spider-Verse, enter the multiverse, Spider-Verse, enter the multiverse where we can have like different Spider-Mans, including like maybe even Tobey Maguire or Miles Morales. That would be dope. I'm super excited for that one. Climate refugees when you're ready to switch shift gears. Okay, let's get this here. I can watch 4K prawn. Better than Wonder Woman as a movie? Yes. Actually, I haven't read the comics or know that much about Spider-Man. I just like the movies. Yeah, I was super, really into comics. If Nicolas Cage as Noir Spider-Man comes back even for a second, I'll shit my pants. I worked at Tractor Supply. My coworker told me farmers buy animal medicine all the time for themselves because it's cheap, and that's why we locked it behind glass. Why? Why would you do that? Who does this? Yeah, that would be really cool, Chai Bureaucrat. Prison Cornell, thank you for the follow. We had animal vaccines? Jesus. I don't know why, like, they would, who does this? Who thinks that they're just gonna take medicine designed for animals and think it's okay? I don't know. It just seems like illogical. Like you're not an animal. You don't have the same physiology as an animal. An animal is, believe it or not, much bigger than you. The doses, even if it is like, for example, a standard antibiotic that is also used in humans, even if it's the most standard antibiotic, the concentration of doses are different. They said it's stronger so you lose less, and it's for cattle so it's cheaper. Yeah, well, you're not cattle. You're not cattle. You don't process these things the same way. Like, if you're taking an antibiotic designed for cattle, I'm going to presume that it's going to be massively more concentrated. So yeah, the TLDR is don't use ivermectin, please. Do not use medicine that's not designed for the purposes that it was designed for. Like, these are the same people. These are the same people also who have like a problem taking a experimental and I use that in quotations, experimental vaccine. Hold on, folks. There is a hype train that Surfer Girl Gritty just initiated. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. You guys are what makes this channel grow, and you guys are what supports this channel. So I appreciate the support. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Just in fucking time. True. Just in time. You know what? I think I need to put on my glasses for this one. Here we go. Thank you guys. This is the fourth hype train that that has been kicked off in this channel. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Please go check out twitch.tv/surfergirlgritty. Thank you so much, Alio. Thank you so much, Naka Polly. I appreciate that. We need some Alex Jones. I think so. I think this warrants some Alex Jones. Is that a button on your beanie? Yes. Yes. I'm more mad at a system that makes it hard to afford medicine than I am at the farmers. That's true. That is true. Alright, let's get some Alex Jones on this one. Which one should we play? Shy Bureaucrat with a gifted tier 1 sub. Ho ho boy. We're hitting. Is this level 2? Is this level 2? Yeah, I think we need this. I think we can do this one. Never mind, that's a Jack Skellington beanie. It is a Jack Skellington beanie, but there is a button on it too.
Okay, it's true. I stayed up late last night, so I had half the Turbo Force this morning. The vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids. The vitamins, the minerals, the the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids. The vitamins, the minerals. That's Turbo Force. 5 different types of caffeine. Doesn't have the crash. 5 different types of caffeine. That's Turbo Force. 5 different types of caffeine. Doesn't have the crash. 5 different types of caffeine. That's Turbo Force. Plant derived. 500 milligrams. Slow burn. The very best. I want a long burn. Plant derived. 500 milligrams. Slow burn. The very best. That's Turbo Force. I tell you what, I'm feeling a lot of energy. My brain's sure working good right now. Good right now. Good right now. Pre-workout, next level. Turbo Force. Turbo Force. Pre-workout, next level. Turbo. It's Turbo Force. And get the fish oil.
Yeah, I saw, oh man, I saw that Chibirkat. I bought this a long time ago. This beanie has been with me for years. This beanie has been with me for years. And I bought it at a, oh god, was it? It was at a store in a mall. Back when, like, malls were, like, a thing. So... yeah, I bought it off like kind of like a later Peter Parker. Thank you so much. Stay healthy. You stay safe. You stay healthy. In a kind of like a Hot Topic mixed with a GameStop.
I love you, dude. I love you, but you gotta let me talk.
Highest level military intelligence. Tell me more about it.
Are you waiting for your turn to speak, sir? Are you listening?
No, tell me about the highest level military intelligence.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. You're full of shit. I will not suffer your Q people after this. Because you're lying. You're full of shit. All of it, dude. And I'm sick of it. I'm not knocking people who are into Q. I'm just telling you. Oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. Is he Q? I understand magical powers. I'm asking you with your wizard powers. Oh,
if you have any
part of the larger Q, you don't embarrass.
Amazon Prime subs,
he is a Q priest, is a religion. Q told
and you want to help get this hype train to level 3?
But he's a lightweight. Jake the Barbarian, I guess, was his earlier incantation or incarnation. We have Q on the line. Q shaman. Listen, you're a Q wizard. A Q shaman. You are a shamanic wizard. We get that. A Q shaman. Go ahead, Q shaman.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying! You're full of shit! I will not suffer your Q people after this. Because you're lying! You're full of shit! All of it, dude! And I'm sick of it! Q is like people that look in clouds. One sees a giraffe, one sees an elephant. Highest level military intelligence. The almighty Q Lord, and you are his priest. I don't know if he's for real or whether he's hired in a kite. And it's always, oh, there's energy. So you got a bunch of Q-tards into the capital. Oh, You told us that Trump was invincible. You said he was the Messiah. Trump's a regular guy. He's not Jesus Christ. They'll never, when they're wrong, say they're wrong. We have Q on the line. Q shaman. Listen, you're a Q wizard. The Q shaman. You are a shamanic wizard. We get that. The Q shaman. Really? No, you're full of crap.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. You're full of shit. I will not suffer your Q people after this. Because you're lying. You're full of shit. All of it, dude. And I'm sick of it.
What the fuck, bro?
Very nice. Squeeze the shaman. Oh man, I love these remixes.
You're gonna live in a tank and be tied into this virtual world. You'll be able to wire your head in and just get unlimited pleasure.
One more.
You'll feel like 10 times the best orgasm for 3 days if you want straight.
Hold on. This is for the hype train that you guys just did. I really appreciate all the support. So this one is for the hype train.
You're gonna live in a tank and be tied into this virtual world. You'll be able to wire your head in and just get unlimited pleasure. You'll feel like 10 times the best orgasm for 3 days if you want straight. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. There's the owners of Truth Frequency Radio. They believe they're communicating with entities they call them clockwork elves. Not going to get into what they're interfacing with. They believe they're in contact with off-world groups. Chris Geo, Truth Frequency Radio, he takes it. You see the elves, little green hats. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We're in trouble. The clockwork elves, all of it, I shouldn't even get into it. There's a reason they're all whacked out of their minds. They're taking DMT. And the point is that their whole science is way ahead. We don't even know what they've got. They're in power because they're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. You think they're all a bunch of old men? They're in power because they were into this stuff 70 years ago. The DMT. They were jacking DMT 70 years ago. They were injecting it. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Truth Frequency Radio took the DMT. I shouldn't even get into it.
I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccine.
Whew. Oh man, it looks like Alex Jones took the DMT. Yes. All right, that was great. That was pretty funny. The Clockwork Elves, everything. It's all true. I can't get over that. My friend took ayahuasca and had a hell of a trip. He said he experienced about 7 small lives with his partner who watched the entire trip. Said he just flailed on the ground convulsing for about 10 minutes. Jeez. That sounds like salvia. Ooh. So TLDR, before we got into the very, very generous hype train. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for the support. TLDR, ivermectin, stop it. Okay? Stop it. Until there is some type of confirmation that this is even good for treating COVID, stop it. And for those folks who, yes, so my point before was these are the same folks who are skeptical about skeptical about taking a vaccine that was not FDA approved, but will ingest fish tank cleaner and dewormer for horses and cattle, livestock. One of the men charged in the Michigan governor kidnap plot gets 6 years in prison. A Michigan man charged with in federal court with plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer was sentenced to 6 years and 3 months in prison, according to the court records. T.Y. Garbin, 25, is the only member of 6 men facing federal charges and kidnapped to plot to plead guilty for his role. He also received 3 years of supervised release following his prison sentence. Last year, Garbin struck a plea deal with prosecutors and agreed to cooperate with the investigation. He turned government witness and disclosed crucial details about the alleged plan to kidnap Whitmer. At his sentencing hearing Wednesday, Garbin apologized to Whitmer, who was not in the courtroom, and her family for his involvement. I mean, like, well, yeah, too late though. Like, Garbin also apologized to his family and told federal judge Robert Jonker that he hopes to help others from becoming radicalized. Now that would be awesome. If this is true and he realized where he was going and is now turning to help people becoming help people from becoming radicalized, that would be great. I hope that that's true. I hope that that was sincere and not just something that, you know, he was trying to tell the judge. I hope that that is actually true. And, yeah. Just an explosion at Kabul airport. Jesus Christ. Can you post a Twitter link or a article? Whitmer, a Democrat, was harshly criticized by President Trump and Michigan Republican leaders for her efforts to prevent the spread of COVID virus. Prosecutors said Garbin conspired with Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Caleb Wright, I don't want to name these people, who are members of the Wolverine Watchmen. Right, I remember this. Cringe name. The group collected weapons, participated in field training in Wisconsin, and conducted surveillance of Whitmer's vacation home last year. The trial for the other 5 men facing federal charges is set to begin October 12th. Yep. I mean, this guy might actually feel bad for what he did. No worries, take your time, Elio. This guy might actually feel bad for what he did because he was the only one who just said straight up pleaded guilty. He was the only one who just straight up pleaded guilty. So maybe there is some contrition, maybe there is some especially after seeing the consequences that he's about to face, some rethinking of his actions. I hope this is honestly the best case scenario, is if this dude actually believes this and is going to help others from becoming radicalized. That would be probably the best case scenario. Maybe he can work on that from prison. One of our GOP congressmen in Michigan was caught on tape joking about plotting against Whitmer and spanking her and making sexist remarks. Yikes, dude. Did you see the stuff about the guy in Washington who claimed to have a bomb in his truck? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went over that, I think, Monday, because it happened last Friday, I believe. New York holds billions from Afghanistan. Yeah, I thought the IMF was was withholding any type of funds at this point. The Taliban may have seized control of Afghanistan, but for now the group can access the 10 billion in reserve in the country's central bank, most of which is reserved, reportedly held by the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. Okay, that's the strange part here. Wait, how? Why? Seems like a strange place to store your reserve money in a country that invaded you. Well, no, because wasn't that the whole thing? Why we set up a government to try to, like, support them? Alia with the 10 biddies, thank you so much. Wouldn't the point be that, the government that we tried to, prop up, that's where, all the funds would be, just in a one location? I don't know. I'm just spitballing, to be quite honest. I have no idea. Because it's being stored by the Federal Bank, the Financial Times reported, regardless, most of the central banks, roughly 9.5 billion in assets, were frozen by the US last week after the Taliban took swift control. That makes sense from our perspective, right? My friend made a song about Governor Whitmer. She walked to it while rallying for Biden. Nice. Yeah, strange, but I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why we had that is as a way of, like, being able to continue to fund the government that we propped up from this, maybe. J&J, J&J booster shot prompts large increase in immune response. So there is a new study that says that a J&J booster creates a huge increase in COVID antibodies, which is good. People who received the booster 6 to 8 months after the initial J&J saw antibodies increase 9-fold higher than 28 days after the first shot. Interesting. I wonder if they should have made the J&J a 2-shot then, but not like 2 shots within the within like couple of weeks like it would be for Pfizer and Moderna, but like 2 shots in the sense that you take one and then like months later you take the other J&J. Maybe they should have done that. I don't know. Maybe the research wasn't completed. Either way, we have new data to work with here. So this just continues to prove the efficacy of the vaccines. So, yeah.
I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccine.
That's it. Okay, so this is just breaking. An explosion was reported outside Hamid Karzai International Airport on Thursday, according to 2 U.S. officials. One official said there's injuries among Afghans, but there's no information yet on any U.S. casualties. Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby confirmed there was an explosion outside of the airport. We can confirm an explosion outside the Kabul airport. Casualties are unclear at this time. We will provide additional details when we can. This could have been just easily a attack by ISIS, which intelligence officials have put that on the table. It's very likely. Would I be at the same level of immunity with my J&J booster as someone with their Pfizer booster? Yeah. The reason they work differently than Dara, so you can't technically compare them because the J&J is different. Did you see the facts that come out by the 3 trillion to Southern Afghanistan? 2.3 trillion actually went to the military, and if you invested 100 of Halliburton stock, you'd be a billionaire today. As the military services were 45% of 2.3 trillion, so basically it was a massive swindle to make the military industrial complex very rich, with hardly any cash to go in things like building roads and energy networks in Afghanistan. Not surprised if that would be the case. I don't know the confirmation on that, but let's just say it is true. It wouldn't surprise me. Not in the least. Not in the very least. I mean, the only people that won in this whole quagmire is the military-industrial complex. That's for sure. That's for sure. I've seen that they started experimenting with oral and nasal vaccination because our nasal system is better storing memories for the virus down the road and apparently identifies all 28 indicators of the virus versus the traditional blood barrier vaccine, which only identifies one of the 28. Interesting. Yeah, so the article is just a summation of a whole bunch of articles from different sites, if you want that. Let me get you that here. Oh, not this one. Okay. No problem. Yeah, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this had anything to do with ISIS, as intelligence has told us that it is possible. I guess we'll have to see.
I am standing somewhere windswept and talking about.
They create so much surplus, like we got to get a way to make sure that they can just efficiently export it. That's the problem. Where's the Moderna one? I took Moderna. I want my booster. We are still... Yeah, that's a good problem to have. We still haven't seen anything on Moderna boosters. We still haven't seen anything on Moderna boosters. Only preliminary research for J&J and approval only for the Pfizer booster. Seemed like an ad, but it seems like a pragmatic sense of duty. Yeah, I mean, like, well, yeah, we have to make these changes. There's no real scenario where we don't. I mean, unless we're okay with untold suffering and catastrophic events. They're solving the problem without the urge to make a profit. Impossible.
This is where you used to live.
Yeah, right about 10 feet in from the road.
When you look around, you know, some of these houses seem fine, but other things are just completely gone.
Yeah, that's what amazes me. You know, why did it take 5 of us and leave Kenny and leave these 2? You know, I couldn't figure that out. Because the fire, it had a mind of its own. It was like a beast eating, you know, taking a bite here and a bite there.
Wanda Toomey was one of over 12,000 Oregon residents who lost their homes in the Labor Day fires of 2020. Now, nearly a year after over 1 million acres burned, all that's left in neighborhoods leveled by fire are empty, overgrown lots.
What's it like for you to stand here and look at this?
Well, I'm reminiscing a little bit, but, you know, I can't stay there. You know, I can't stay in that thinking mode.
Last year's catastrophic wildfire season
That's so
claimed
sad.
over 4,000 homes across Oregon, more than 40 times the number of houses lost in the prior 5 fire seasons combined. Nearly 2,500 of those homes were here in Jackson County, where the Almeda fire ripped through a creekside forest, ravaging 3 towns in its path. In October of last year, 1 month after the fires, the state legislature put aside $30 million to house wildfire victims in hotels and motels through a program called Project Turnkey.
Yeah, this one has 2 beds, and I don't need 2 beds. But that's all they had.
11 months later, Oregon is still using converted hotel rooms to house around 900 survivors from the 2020 fires, while now battling its latest fire season.
Someone had
Jesus.
told me that they were converting these motels into apartments.
Take that in for a second. The folks who lost everything last year are still in converted motels, and God knows how long that's going to be, because, well, this year's fire season is well underway, and as we saw yesterday, there are fires everywhere in the Pacific Northwest. Where these folks lived. As Spread It Forward put it, these are climate refugees, and this is going to be the new norm. I mean, what do you do if you take so long to recover, but only to have the new fire season come around and destroy everything? I mean,
So I stopped by here one day and signed a piece of paper to be on the waiting list.
How did you feel having a place to be?
Well, it was great because I was sleeping in my truck.
Do you feel like you're living in a hotel or
Yes.
like you're living in a home?
No, hotel. It's not a home for me compared to what I had. It's just a room, to sleep in, and take a shower.
If you hadn't gotten this room, where would you be?
I'd probably be still sleeping in my truck.
Hi, yes.
I'm Mina.
Hi, Nina. Nice to meet you too. This is Kiva.
Hi, Dima. Do you mind if we come in?
No, come on in.
oh, hello, doggy.
We have a mid-sized refrigerator, got a 4-burner stove, and whoops, and a sink. And that's it.
Where were you living before the fires?
We were in a 3-bedroom home, around 40 acres.
Wow.
Home was 4,000 square feet.
Wow.
It was a rental. We were basically caregiving for the owner of the property.
Did you lose a lot in the fire?
Oh, I lost everything. There's a picture of the house. And then there's my fishing boat.
If you weren't living here, where would you be?
We'd be living out of the back of my pickup, pretty much, because there's no rentals available. A room this size would be going for around $1,000 a month.
What?
Oregon was already in a housing crisis.
A shoebox like that is $1,000 a month?
Before the 2020 fires. The state was short 150,000 homes for what its population needed, a problem the fires only made worse.
Jesus Christ.
Recovery is centered around having a place to live. And we got to find those places. And it takes time.
Is there enough housing?
No, there's not enough housing. There wasn't enough housing before this disaster, and there's not enough housing now.
Some of the wildfire survivors we spoke to, have been in temporary housing now for almost a year. And we're sitting here and there's fire raging in Oregon.
The environment's changing. What was normal a few years ago is not normal now.
Yeah,
and
no
we're
kidding.
thinking hard about what we need to be able to do to respond to these challenges.
Is there going to come a time when you tell people the best disaster preparedness is just not to live here?
I would never make that recommendation. Anywhere you move in the United States, you're going to find a hazard.
State officials say there's enough
Yeah. True.
funding to continue sheltering these wildfire survivors for the next 2 years. Meanwhile, local leaders are racing to rebuild, even in the face of an uncertain future.
So we're on 4 acres in Talent, Oregon. What we're doing now is laying in infrastructure for 53 RV sites. Here, we lost 700 dwellings, and that's a third of our town. A third of our town burned down.
Are you afraid about coming fire seasons, becoming more and more extreme?
There is climate chaos in Oregon, and the wildfire is a very in-your-face expression of what global warming is looking like for us.
Yeah. My question is, hey Heat, how's it going? Howdy, howdy, howdy. My question is, if you know this, I don't know, man. Why would you? Because the reality is, it's probably going to be the new norm. So why would you, why would you rebuild? You use Restream. I don't get my Twitch notifications that your show started. Wait, like from Twitch? Because it should. Or I told the bot to do it on Discord. I told the bot to do it on Discord. That's weird.
What it really looks like for me is, are we building and bringing folks back home to be sitting ducks for more of the same?
Right, so then why are you spending all this effort and resources to build again when it's probable that it's gonna get burned down again? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that. I'm gonna have to check that.
Are you?
Yeah, on some level, but where do you go otherwise? There's no place to go where we are not going to be faced with defending ourselves against climate change. And this is where we're choosing to defend ourselves.
Yeah, it seems like Twitch was having a problem, but it says they fixed it. It says they fixed it, so personally, I'm okay with Twitch not having pods. Yikes. That's so sad. Alright folks, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take a quick break and we're gonna head straight into this. Hopefully we can cover even more ground than we did yesterday. So I'm gonna take a very quick break and a second to, of course, show for myself. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to do the subscribes on the YouTubes, the likes, the comments, you know, all the good stuff. Don't forget to join our Discord, where we have a pretty decent community, pretty chill, pretty awesome, pretty based community. So make sure you join the Discord for any offline conversations. And this Sunday, we will have a movie night. I was able to get Fern Gully finally. So we will be watching that on Discord. So make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTubes, Twitters, TikToks, all the stuffs. I will be right back. Just a quick bathroom break. Follow. I see everything. I see everything. I am everywhere and nowhere. Yeah. Alright, folks, we are page 45. We are doing great. We're doing great strides here. So previously, we were putting into perspective the parts per billion of each greenhouse gas, and we have seen unprecedented levels based on what we based on the evidence here. Has no precedent, and in all of these cases since 800,000 years, past 800,000 years. So clearly it is obvious that we are the ones who are creating this. Halogenated gases consist of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFCs, HFCs, and other gases, many of which can deplete stratospheric ozone and warm the atmosphere in response to controls on production and consumption mandated by the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer and its amendments. The atmospheric abundances of most CFCs have continued to decline since AR5. In other words, because we took regulatory action to limit these harmful things, it's showing a continued decline. Abundances of typo of HFCs, which are replacements for CFCs, and HFCs are increasing. High confidence. Oops, I may have jumped the gun there. Are increasing. High confidence, though the increases of the major HCFCs have slowed in recent years. The ERF from halogenated components in 2019 was the weird formula that we couldn't figure out yesterday. So why not do it with fossil fuels and plastic? Yeah, why not? I mean, we have different technology to replace it. We have hemp. We have those fungus that can replace plastic made items, oil-based plastic made items. I mean, the technology is there. But, you know. Tropospheric aerosols mainly act to cool the climate system directly by reflecting solar radiation and indirectly through enhancing cloud reflectance. Ice cores show increase in aerosols across the northern hemisphere mid-latitude since 1700 and reductions since the late 20th century. High confidence. Aerosol optical death, AOD, derived from the satellite and ground-based radiometers, has decreased since 2000 over the mid-latitude continents of both hemispheres, but increased over South Asia and East Africa. High confidence. Trends in AOD are more pronounced from microsubmeter aerosols, for which the anthropogenic contribution is particularly large. Global carbonaceous aerosol budgets and trends remain poorly characterized due to limited observations, but black carbon, a warming aerosol component, is declining in several regions of the northern hemisphere. Low confidence. Total aerosol ERF in 2019 relative to 1750 is X formula that we still don't understand here. I actually want to Google this. What is this? Yes. Right, okay, so it is a formula to determine... So it is a formula to determine ERF. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. Come on. Yeah, the motivation is the problem. I mean, like, we could have... never mind. I'm pretty confident that this is the formula to determine ERF. Yeah, the problem is the motivation to do these regulations and aggressive policies that are necessary, which honestly, I don't think that the impact is as big as people make it out to be. I really don't think so, because like a lot of stuff, it's a matter of replacing the how we do things, the way we get our energy, and the way we do agriculture, and I mean, I guess it might be like a big change in the sense that we all have to do this, but I don't know. Math, yeah, I know. I don't like math either. I don't like math, especially when it has letters in it. And more likely than not became less negative since the 20th century, with low confidence in the magnitude of post-2014 changes due to conflicting evidence. There is high confidence that tropospheric ozone has been increasing from 1750 in response to anthropogenic changes in ozone precursor emissions, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, non-methane, volatile organic compounds, and methane, but with medium confidence in the magnitude of this change due to limited observational evidence and knowledge gaps. Since the mid-20th century, tropospheric ozone surface concentrations has increased by 30 to 70% across the northern hemisphere, medium confidence. Since the mid-1990s, free tropospheric ozones has increased 2 to 7% per decade in the most northern mid-latitude regions and 2 to 12% per decade in sampled tropical regions. Further changes in surface ozone concentrations will primarily be driven by changes in precursor emissions rather than by climate change. High confidence. Stratospheric ozone has declined between 60 degrees south, 60 degrees north by 2.2% from 1964 to 1980 to 2014 to 2017. High confidence, with the largest declines during the 1880 and 1995. The strongest loss of stratospheric ozone continues to occur in austral spring over Antarctica, the ozone hole, with emergent signs of recovery after 2000. The 1750 to 2019 ERF for total stratospheric and tropospheric ozone is 0.47 according to this formula, which is dominated by tropospheric ozone changes. Yeah, like stay in words, letters. The global mean abundance of hydroxyl radical or oxidizing capacity chemically regulates the lifetimes of many short-lived climate forcers, and therefore the radiative forcing of methane, ozone, and secondary aerosols and many halogenated species, Model estimates suggest no significant change in oxidizing capacity from 1850 to 1980. Low confidence increases about 9% over 1980. The 2014 computed by ESMs and carbon cycle models are not confirmed by observationally constrained inverse models, rendering an overall medium confidence in stable OH or positive trend since 1980s, and implying that OH is not the primary driver of recent observed growth in CH4, methane. Well, yeah, I mean, we know the primary driver of growth in methane, which they stated earlier, is the agriculture. Animal agriculture is one of the biggest ones. Land use and land cover exert biophysical and biogeochemical effects. There is medium confidence that biophysical effects of land use change since 1750, most notably the increase in global albedo, have had an overall cooling on the climate, whereas biogeochemical effects, i.e. changes in GHG and volatile organic compound emissions or sinks, led to net warming. Overall land use and land cover ERF is estimated at -0.2. Total anthropogenic ERF relative in 2019 relative to 1750 was 2.72, dominated by GHG positive ERF and partially offset by aerosols negative ERF. And the rate of change of ERF likely has increased since the 1970s, mainly due to growing CO2 concentrations and less negative aerosol ERFs. I don't know what this part means. A lot of terms outside my wheelhouse. ERF is, they told us earlier. It was, external radiating forces. Basically, what this is telling us is the difference between how we measured climate change and how aerosols versus GHG, which is greenhouse gases, have kind of balanced each other out. We come to realize that these GHG greenhouse gases have led to a net warming, which of course makes sense. My course had a lot of Earth-side people, but I wasn't one of them. Yeah, that the idea is well, this is the technical summary, so this is just to get a really, I don't want to say broad, because even this is pretty specific, but a broader idea and picture of what we're looking at versus the 3,900 and something pages. The total anthropogenic ERF relative to, and partially offset by aerosols and negative, the rate of change of ERF has likely increased in 1970s, mainly due to growing CO2 concentrations and less negative aerosols. Just a bunch of the intricacies go over my head. Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. I feel like I still don't understand exactly what this equation is telling me, but I imagine I'm still trying to like make sense of it. I think that this is trying to tell me what the actual ERF, the equation for ERF is. The effects of human-induced climate change has been clearly identified in observations of atmospheric temperature and some aspects of circulation, and these are likely to intensify in the future. Yeah, that's pretty clear. Tropospheric warming and stratospheric cooling are virtually certain to continue with continued net emissions of greenhouse gases. Several aspects of atmospheric circulation have likely changed since the mid-20th century, and human influence has likely contributed to the observed poleward expansion of the southern hemisphere Hadley cell, and very likely contributed to the observed poleward shift of the southern hemisphere extratropical jet in summer. It is likely that this mid-latitude jet will shift poleward and strengthen, accompanied by strengthening of the storm track in the southern hemisphere by 2100 under the high CO2 emission scenarios. It is likely that the proportion of intense tropical storms, tropical cyclones, has increased over the last 4 decades, and that this cannot be explained entirely by natural variability. There is low confidence in observed recent changes in the total number of extratropical cyclones over both hemispheres. The proportion of tropical cyclones which are intense is expected to increase, high confidence, but total global number of tropical cyclones is expected to decrease or remain unchanged, medium confidence. So yeah, I mean, like, so what it's telling me is the storms that do happen are going to be more intense, which makes sense. The warmer waters, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good for the Gulf and the East Coast here, and I assume the typhoons on the Pacific, not good. The troposphere has warmed since the 1950s and is virtually certain. So after all that, what if I'm still not a believer that people cause climate change? We don't. I don't know. I don't know. This is like flat Earth levels. At that point, I mean, like, they are stressing multiple times in this that it is anthropogenic, and our role is virtually certain. It's undeniable, and I don't know. This is like some flat Earth and anti-vax conspiracy. Like, at that point, right? I mean, I guess some people may just not understand it, but I don't know. I think it's pretty clear. It is virtually certain that the stratosphere has cooled. It is very likely that human-induced increases in GHGs were the main driver of tropospheric warming since 1979. It is extremely likely that anthropogenic forcing from both increases in GHG concentration and depletion of stratospheric ozone due to ozone-depleting substances was the main driver of upper stratospheric cooling since 1979. It is very likely that global mean stratospheric cooling will be larger for scenarios with higher atmospheric CO2 concentrations in the tropics since at least 2001, with new techniques permit more robust quantifications. The upper troposphere has warmed faster than the near surface. Medium confidence. There is medium confidence that most CMIP5 and CMIP6 models overestimate the observed warming in the upper tropical troposphere over the periods of 1979-2014, in part because they overestimate the tropical SST warming. It is likely that the future tropical upper tropospheric warming will be larger at the tropical surface. Whew. The Hadley circulation is likely widened since at least the 1980s, predominantly in the northern hemisphere. Although there is only medium confidence in the extent of the changes, this has been accompanied by a strengthening of the Hadley circulation in the northern hemisphere. Medium confidence. It is likely that human influence has contributed to the poleward expansion of the zonal mean Hadley cell in the southern hemisphere since the 1980s, which is projected to further expand with global warming. High confidence. There is medium confidence that the observed polar expansion in the northern hemisphere is within the range of internal variability. Since the 1970s, near-surface average winds have likely weakened over land. Over the ocean, near-surface average winds likely strengthened over 1980 to 2000, but divergent estimates lead to low confidence thereafter. I mean, like, if this is... I suspect that if this Hadley circulation also has a lot of domino effects with weather, I suspect, yeah. What page are we on? About to be on page 47. Here. Extratropical storm tracks have likely shifted poleward since the 1980s. There's low confidence in projected polar shifts of the northern hemisphere mid-latitude jet and storm tracks due to large internal variability and structural uncertainty in model simulations. There's medium confidence in a projected decrease of frequency of atmospheric blocking over Greenland and North Pacific and boreal winter in 2081 to 2100 under the SSP 3 7.0 and SSP 5 8.5 scenarios. There's high confidence that southern hemisphere storm tracks and associated precipitation have migrated polewards over recent decades, especially in the austral summer and autumn, associated with a trend towards a more positive phases of the southern annular mode. What document is this? This is the technical summary of the Working Group 1 report from the IPCC. In the long term, 2081 to 2100, the southern hemisphere mid-latitude jet is likely to shift forward and strengthen under SSP 5 8.5 scenario relative to 1995 to 2014, accompanied with an increase of SAM. It is likely that wind speeds associated with extratropical cyclones will strengthen in the southern hemisphere storm track for SSP 5 8.5. There is low confidence in the potential role of Arctic warming and sea ice loss on historical or projected mid-latitude atmospheric variability. It is likely that the proportion of major Category 3 to 5 cyclones, tropical cyclones, and the frequency of rapid tropical cyclone intensification events have increased over the past 4 decades. The average location of peak tropical storm wind intensity has very likely migrated poleward in the western North Pacific Ocean since the 1940s, and tropical storm forward translation speed has likely slowed over the contiguous USA since 1900. It is likely that the poleward migration of tropical storms in the western North Pacific and the global increase in tropical storm intensity rates cannot be explained entirely by natural variability. Again, I mean, how many times do they have to hammer down the fact that it's us? Cannot be explained entirely by natural variability. There's high confidence that the average peak tropical storm wind speeds and proportion of Category 4 to 5 tropical storms will increase with warming, and that the peak winds of most intense tropical storms will increase. There is medium confidence that the average location of where tropical storms reach their maximum wind intensity will migrate poleward in the western North Pacific Ocean, with the total global frequency of tropical storms formation will decrease or remain unchanged with increasing global warming. Medium confidence. There's low confidence in observed recent changes in the total number of extratropical cyclones over both hemispheres. There's also low confidence in the past century trends in the number of intensity of the strongest extratropical cyclones over the northern hemisphere due to the large interannual to decadal variability and temporal and spatial heterogeneities in the volume of type of assimilated data in atmospheric reanalysis, particularly before the satellite era. Over the southern hemisphere, it is likely that the number of extratropical cyclones with low central pressures, has increased since 1979. The frequency of intense extratropical cyclones is projected to decrease. Medium confidence. Projected changes and the intensity depend on the resolution of climate models. Medium confidence. There's medium confidence that wind speeds associated with extratropical cyclones will change following the changes in storm tracks. Future global warming exceeding the assessed very likely range cannot be ruled out, and it is potentially associated with the highest risks for society and ecosystems. Such low likelihood, high warming storylines tend to exhibit substantially greater changes in intensity of regional drying and wetting than the multi-model mean. Even at levels of warming within the very likely range, global and regional low likelihood outcomes might occur, such as large precipitation changes, additional sea level rise associated with collapsing ice sheets, or abrupt ocean circulation changes. While there is medium confidence that the Atlantic Meridional overturning circulation, AMOC, will not experience an abrupt collapse before 2100, if it were to occur, it would be very likely cause abrupt shifts in regional weather patterns and water cycle. The probability of these low likelihood outcomes increase with higher global warming levels. If the real-world climate sensitivity lies at the end of the assessed range, then global and regional changes substantially outside the very likely range projections occur for a given emission scenario. With increased global warming, some very rare extremes and some compound events, multivariate and concurrent extremes with low likelihood in the past and current climate will become more frequent, and there is a higher chance that events unprecedented in observational records occur. High confidence. Finally, low likelihood, high impact outcomes may also arise from a series of very large volcanic eruptions that could substantially alter the 21st century climate trajectory compared to the SSP-based Earth system model projections. Yeah, that's a pretty stark warning. That's a pretty stark warning. Previous IPCC reports largely focused their assessments on the projected very likely range of future surface warming and associated climate change. However, comprehensive risk assessment also requires considering the potential larger changes in the physical climate system that are unlikely or very unlikely but possible and potentially associated with the highest risks for society and ecosystems. Since AR5, the development of physical climate storylines with high warming has emerged as a useful approach for exploring the future risk space that lies outside the IPCC very likely range projections. Uncertainty in the true values of equilibrium climate sensitivity and transient climate response dominate uncertainty in projections of future warming under moderate to strong emission scenarios. A real-world ECS higher than the assessed very likely range 2 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius would require strong historical aerosol cooling and/or trends towards stronger warming from positive feedbacks linked to changes in SST pattern effects, combined with the strong positive cloud feedback and substantial biases in paleoclimate reconstructions, each of which is assessed as either unlikely or very unlikely, but not ruled out. Since CMIP6 contains several ESMs that exceed the upper bounds of the assessed very likely range in the future surface warming, these models can be used to develop low likelihood, high warming storylines to explore risks and vulnerabilities even in the absence of quantitative assessments of likelihood. Boo. I knew that. Pro streamer. I knew that. I knew that. I knew that. Okay. CMIP6 models with surface warming outside or close to the upper bound of very likely range exhibit patterns of large widespread temperature precipitation changes that differ substantially from the multi-model mean in all scenarios. For the SSP5 8.5, the high warming models exhibit widespread warming of more than 6 degrees Celsius over most extratropical land regions and parts of the Amazon. In Arctic, annual mean temperatures increased by more than 10 degrees Celsius relative to present day, corresponding to about 30% more than the best estimate of warming. Yikes. Even for SSP1, 2.6 degrees, high warming models show on average 2 to 3 degrees Celsius warming relative to present day conditions over much of Eurasia and North America, about 40% more than the best estimate of warming, and more than 4 degrees Celsius warming relative to the present over the Arctic. In 2081 to 2100, such a high warming storyline would imply that the remaining carbon budget consistent with a 2 degrees Celsius warming is smaller than the assessed very likely range. Jesus Christ. Put another way, even if a carbon budget that likely limits warming to 2 degrees Celsius is met, a low likelihood high warming storyline would result in warming of 2.5 degrees Celsius or more. Huh. So can we just like understand the reality of meeting that goal is just most likely not going to happen. However, we should still do what we can to make sure it doesn't get any worse, right? That's not good. This is the more we get into this, like the more bad it looks. Jesus. CMIP6 models with global warming close to the upper bound of the assessed very likely warming range tend to exhibit greater changes in intensity of regional drying and wetting than the multi-model mean. Furthermore, these model projections show a large area of drying and tend to show a larger fraction of strong precipitation increases than the multi-model mean. However, regional precipitation changes arise from both thermodynamic and dynamic processes, so that the most pronounced global warming levels are not nearly associated with the strongest precipitation response. Abrupt human-caused changes to the water cycle cannot be ruled out. Positive land surface feedbacks involving vegetation and dust can contribute to abrupt changes in aridity, but there is only low confidence that such changes will occur during the 21st century. Continued Amazon deforestation combined with a warming climate raises the probability that this ecosystem will cross a tipping point into a dry state during the 21st century. Yeah, this is. Remember how a while ago we saw a study that projected the Amazon turning into like a savanna. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, just for illustration purposes, exactly. Darknet, 4 degrees Celsius is 7.2 degrees Fahrenheit. That is massive. That is massive. While there is a medium confidence that the projected decline in the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation will not involve an abrupt collapse before 2100, such a collapse might be triggered by an unexpected meltwater influx from the Greenland ice sheet. If an AMA collapse were to occur, it would very likely cause abrupt shifts in weather patterns and water cycles, such as southward shift in tropical rainbow, and could result in weakening of the African and Asian monsoons and strengthening of the southern hemisphere monsoons. Ooh. Very rare extremes and compound or concurrent events, such as 2018 concurrent heat waves across the northern hemisphere, are often associated with large impacts. The changing climate state is already altering the likelihood of extreme events such as decadal droughts and extreme sea levels, and will continue to do so under future warming. Compound events and concurrent extremes contribute to increasing probability of low likelihood high impact outcomes, and will become more frequent with increasing global warming. High confidence. Higher warming levels will increase the likelihood of events unprecedented in the observational record. Yeah. So, the new norm, folks. Finally, low likelihood storylines. Storylines need not necessarily relate to solely human-induced changes in climate. A low likelihood, high impact outcome consistent with historical precedent in the past 2,500 years would be to see several large volcanic eruptions that could greatly alter the 21st century climate trajectory compared to SSP-based Earth system models. The ocean. Oh boy. Oh boy. Observation models and paleo evidence indicate that recently observed changes in the ocean are unprecedented for centuries to millennia. Yikes. Over the past 4 to 6 decades, it is virtually certain. Again, I mean, like, they are very, very stressing the fact that this is human cause. It is virtually certain that global ocean has warmed with human influence, extremely likely the main driver since 1970s, making climate change irreversible over centuries to millennia. Medium confidence. It is virtually certain that upper ocean salinity contrasts have increased since the 1950s, and extremely likely that human influence has contributed. It is virtually certain that upper ocean stratification has increased since 1970 and that seawater pH has declined globally over the last 40 years, with human influence the main driver of observed ocean acidification. Virtually certain. Ugh. There is high confidence that marine heat waves have become more frequent in the 20th century, and that most of them have been attributed to anthropogenic warming since 2006, very likely. There's high confidence that oxygen levels have dropped in many regions since the mid-20th century, and that geographic ranges of many marine organisms have changed over the last 2 decades. The amount of ocean warming observed since 1971 will likely at least double by 2100 under a low warming scenario. Okay. The amount of ocean warming, yes, will be observed since 1971. Will likely at least double by 2100 under low warming scenario SSP1 to 2.6, and will increase by 4 to 8 times under a high warming scenario SSP5 to 8.5. Stratification virtually certain, acidification virtually certain, deoxygenation high confidence, and marine heatwave frequency high confidence will continue to increase in the 21st century. While there's low confidence in the 20th century AMOC change, it is very likely that the AMOC will decline over the 21st century. I mean, so this in and of itself is massive. This in and of itself is massive. That's right, rip all the fishies. It is virtually certain that global ocean has warmed since 1971, representing about 90% of the increase in the global energy inventory. The ocean is currently warming faster than any other time since at least the last deglacial transition, medium confidence with warming extending to depths well below 2,000 meters. High confidence. It is extremely likely that human influence was the main driver of ocean warming. Ocean warming will continue over the 21st century, virtually certain, and will likely continue to at least 2300, even for low CO2 emission scenarios. Ocean warming is irreversible over centuries to millennia. But the magnitude of warming is scenario dependent from about mid-21st century medium confidence. The warming will not be globally uniform, with heat primarily stored in the Southern Ocean, water masses, and weaker warming in the subpolar North Atlantic. High confidence. Limitations in understanding of feedback mechanisms limit our confidence in future ocean warming closer to Antarctica and how this will affect sea ice and ice shelves. And we should just build a really big aeration device. This is like the oh god, that video from Futurama that Darknet has posted before, where they just like drop giant ice cubes. Yeah, that's literally that. Global mean SST has increased since the beginning of 20th century by 0.88 to 1.1 degrees Celsius, and it is virtually certain that it will continue to increase to the 21st century with increased hazards to marine ecosystems. Medium confidence. Marine heat waves have become more frequent over the 20th century. High confidence and approximately doubling in frequency. High confidence. This is so doom. Becoming more intense and longer since 1980s. Medium confidence. Most of the marine waves over 2006 to 2015 have been attributed to anthropogenic warming, very likely. Marine heat waves will continue to increase in frequency, with a likely global increase 2 to 9 times 2081 to 2100 compared to 1995 to 2014. Under SSP1 to 2.6 and 3 to 15 times under SSP5. Jesus Christ. With the largest changes in the tropical and Arctic Ocean. Observed upper ocean stratification 0 to 200 meters has increased globally since at least 1970, virtually certain. Based on recent refined analyses of the available observations, there's high confidence that it increased by 4.9 plus or minus 1.5% from 1970 to 2018, which is about twice as much as the assessed SROCC, and will continue to increase to the 21st century at a rate depending on emission scenarios. Yeah, so from the beginning, what this is trying to tell us is the stuff that we do here and now will determine. Geez, my tummy keeps grumbling. Oh, I'm starving. The stuff that we do here and now will determine the scenario that we end up in, how bad it's going to be. This is already, a lot of this is already locked in. But we can adapt and mitigate the severity and which one of these 5 scenarios we end up in, or the range of these 5 scenarios we end up in. We determine what happens in the future, right now, right here, within the time that we have. Our actions or inactions will determine what future we lock in for ourselves. That's the lesson here. Right, better than, I mean, it's going to take a lot of people, heat, to try to get people on board, to try to understand the severity of the problem, right? Water temperature rise, recorded water minimums, will more severe storms. Yes, Sir Yogi. It is virtually certain that since 1950, near-surface high salinity regions have become more saline, while low salinity regions have become fresher. With medium confidence that this is linked to intensification of the hydrological cycle, it is extremely likely that human influence has contributed to the salinity change and that the large-scale pattern will grow in amplitude over the 21st century. The AMAC was relatively stable during the past 8,000 years, medium confidence. There's low confidence that the quantification of AMAC changes in the 21st century, in the 20th century, because of low agreement in quantitative reconstructed and simulated trends, missing key processes in both models and measurements used for formulating proxies and new model evaluations. Direct observational records since the mid-2000s are too short to determine the relative contributions of internal variability, natural forcing, and anthropogenic forcing to AMOC change. High confidence. An AMOC decline over the 21st century is very likely. For all SSP scenarios, a possible abrupt decline is assessed further in the other figures. That's not good. Yeah. There's a high confidence that many ocean currents will change in the 21st century in response to changes of wind stress. There's low confidence in 21st century change of the Southern Ocean circulation, despite high confidence that it is sensitive to changes in wind patterns and increased ice shelf melt. Western boundary currents and subtropical gyres have shifted poleward since 1993. Medium confidence subtropical gyres. The East Australian current extension, the Agulhas current, and the Brazilian current are projected to intensify in the 21st century in response to changes in wind stress, while the Gulf Stream and the Indonesian through flow are projected to weaken. Medium confidence. All of the four main eastern boundary upwelling systems are projected to weaken at low latitude and intensify at high latitudes in the 21st century. It is virtually certain that surface pH has declined globally over the last 40 years, and that the main driver is uptake of anthropogenic CO2. Ocean acidification and associated reductions in the saturation state of calcium carbonate, a constituent of skeleton or shells of a variety of marine organisms, is expected to increase in 21st century under all emission scenarios. Yeah. High confidence. There is a very high confidence that present-day surface pH values are unprecedented for at least 26,000 years, and current rates of pH change are unprecedented since at least that time. Over the past 2 to 3 decades, a pH decline in the ocean interior has been observed in all ocean basins. High confidence. Right. I mean, that's what doesn't give me a lot of confidence. Alio, is how we're handling the COVID crisis is kind of a small window of how we're gonna handle the climate crisis when it really hits. I mean, these are the opening salvos. What we've been seeing, these wildfires, these hurricanes, these unprecedented heat waves, the unprecedented floods. These are just but the opening salvos. Thanks everyone for being here. I like a difficult truth. Channel blessings. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. More things. Heat with the 5 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. More things dying will certainly increase the calcium, not to mention what is contained in sewage. Ooh. Maybe we could do a bunch of calcium carbonate in the oceans. Yeah, like that Futurama meme where they just dump blocks of calcium carbonate instead of ice. There you go. Problem solved, folks. Alio with the 5 biddies. Thank you so much. More things dying. Yes, that's true. Over the last, Sir Yogi with the 100 biddies. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. You guys have been absolutely generous today. Thank you. Heat with another 10 biddies. Thank you so much. Wow. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. 100 biddies, thank you so much. We're oh my goodness. It's close. It's close. It's close. It can happen, folks. It can happen again. It can happen. Can we two time? It can happen. Open ocean deoxygenation and expansion of oxygen minimum zones has been observed in many areas since the global ocean since the 20th century. This is so bad. In part due to human influence. That's what is so frustrating about this whole thing. despite in part due to human influence. The oxygenation is projected to continue to increase with ocean warming. Higher climate sensitivity and reduced ocean ventilation in CMIP6 compared to CMIP5 results in substantially greater projections of the subsurface. Heat with a 10 biddies. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is that it? Did that kick it off? It says. It says a hype train is close. I think what... Does it have to be a variety of things, or is it, or can it be kicked off just by biddies? You know, if you have Prime, you can be the one. Oh, it's just gotta be different people? You can be the one. Are you gonna be the one? Higher climate sensitivity and reduced ocean ventilation in CMIP6 compared to CMIP5 results in greater projections of subsurface oxygen. 100 to 600 meters oxygen climb than reported in SROCC for the periods of 2080 to 2099. Over the last 2 decades, the geographic range of many marine organisms has shifted towards the poles and towards greater depths. High confidence. Yes, press biddies for a remix. Okay. And it would be the first time. And it would be the first time, Ali with the 5 biddies, that there is a back-to-back hype train in this channel. And you get to make history by making the first back-to-back hype train in this channel. Over the last 2 decades, the geographical range of many marine organisms have shifted towards the poles and towards the greater depths. High confidence, indicative of shifts towards cooler waters, a range of smaller subset of organisms has shifted equatorward and to shallower depths. Phenological metrics associated with the life cycles of many organisms have also changed over the last 2 decades. Hold on, let me see something here. Oh my goodness! S-Draw Cabin has done it. Has done it. Sir Yogi with the 50 biddies. Oh, we've just made history, folks. We've made history. We've made history, folks. We got a back-to-back hype train in this channel. That's incredible. You guys have been incredibly generous today. History name, my name is written backwards, by the way. What? Wait. Winternet? Oh my goodness. Huh. That's well played. Yeah. Let's start the remix. Thank you so much for kicking off the hype train. We've made history here, folks. Oh, written backwards. Ah. Oh, that makes so much sense. Heat giving out a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Alright. Folks, we gotta kick off the remixes, right? Written backwards. Well played. Okay. We've got to do it. Ah, nice. Lurking at work's paid off. True. True. Oh, I thought it was... Okay, Alex Jones remix? Is this one good?
George Washington, baby! Just wait, everybody. George Washington, baby! Oh, boy, I tell you what, get ready. George Washington, baby! And you laughed at me, baby. Where they do put chemicals in the water to brain damage you and your family. Get the drugs ready. Hardcore super feminist, IOP Satanist, pesky Muslim extremist, communist, crony capitalist. It's over for the globalist. Racist, he's Barack H. Obama. His religion is hating America. Family out of Kenya. He's a top little mutilation pusher.
God.
Oh, we'll have lots of blood and semen. God, don't put that in the water. It's deadly poison. Get back, they're gonna blow up 7. They're gonna release a really specific bioweapon. Some of the computers will make the decision. They show mutated, dead children. Half the kids on your block with autism. Psychological warfare systems. Come on. Hey. Come on. Hey. Pentagon tested gay bomb is the gay bomb. Come on, bomb. Hey, they turn the friggin' frogs gay. And I'm not for that, by the way. They turn the friggin' frogs gay. And walking around in an effeminate way. They turn the friggin' frogs gay. And I'm not for that, by the way. They turn the friggin' frogs gay. You are now a total mind slave. Splicing little babies with fish. And behind it are mad scientists splicing little babies with fish. Humanoids crossed with fish. The New World Order isn't coming, it's here. You stand up to it like Paul Revere. I'm not against beer. Is that clear? I'm a pioneer. I'm here. You want to see it go up another level? Up. We got lots of switches to flip. You like this switch? You like that switch? You want this switch? You like that switch? You like this switch? You like that switch? You want this switch? You like flavoring in it. You want this switch? You like that switch? You want this switch? You like that switch? You like this switch? You like that switch? You want this switch? You like that switch? Liberal, I'm liberal. Liberal, I'm liberal. See you, liberal. Spiritual takeover via
gay bomb
machines.
poppers,
Trying to sell
true.
you on taking vaccines. One superhuman will merge the machine. You're part of the dream. Demons. They're demons. Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon. Demons. She is a demon. Murder the Christians. Demons. They're demons. Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon. Demons. She is a demon. Yeah, he'll say pig demon. From my cold dead head, we're giving you the Death Star plans. The Matrix in a trance. Sick stuff, man. Oh, we'll have lots of blood and semen. God, don't put that in the water. It's deadly poison. Get back, they're gonna blow up 7. They're gonna release a really specific bioweapon. Some of the computers will make the decision. They show mutated, dead children. Half the kids on your block with autism. Psychological warfare systems. Space aliens. Harvest their organs. Super weapon. Brainwashed husband. Intergalactic invasion. Where the country's done as a third world nation. You're in the cult, bro. There's a demon in there running the show. You expose people that bend spoons. Oh! And the midget goes, fuck you, Alex Jones. Oh, yeah, what's the species greater than us? Water that turned the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay.
He with the 5 biddies.
It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like a frog. Gay. Friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs. Place point.
Yeah, let's get started.
Let's get started.
Yeah. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. Mutt pillow guy. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. I sell pillows. Give me a break. No, we're not going on a break. Put up that movie again. Run the movie. There's no breaks. But I ain't eating. I'm staying up here for 72 hours live streaming. So around the world, here's what the Huffington Post wrote. The My Pillow guy ranted against taking a lunch break. Mike Lindell says he's going to stay up 72 hours. Did you guys hear me say that? No, it's a story of the American dream. I was thrown into this ex-crack addict, going from a crack addict to sitting up here on the stage for the world. I represent all of you. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. Mutt pillow guy. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. I sell pillows. Give me a break. Everybody needs to watch this. It's even going to be more meaningful to our country.
Run a video real quick.
The video meme.
The router video.
Video meme. M-E-M-E.
The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. Wendy, we gotta get
I
the
sell
routers.
pillows.
Have you seen that rap video? That sounds pretty catchy. The remix, well, their quote is, we just like to shit on everyone. Have at it, guys, and shit all over me.
How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. Mutt pillow guy. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. I sell pillows. Give me a break. Get up! Because I've seen stuff. Remember, I used mathematics to prove God exists. I would do things to show off, to try and fit in, like jump out of a moving bus window and say, hey, watch me do this. In November and December, we had more evidence than we ever needed in world history. Okay. Whether it's the truth or the not truth, at least you can hear people. You can hear us. This is it right now. You cannot live in fear. We have to just go out. There's such a time as this. This is the only time. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. Mutt pillow guy. How do I know? I don't know. I'm not a cyber expert. How do I know? I don't know. I sell pillows. Give me a break.
And just because you guys have been very generous, and again, I appreciate all the support that you guys have given, a classic. A classic.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
I think this is a great way to end the stream, right? This is a great way to end the stream.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I often note I'm going to circle back. I hate to disappoint conservative Twitter, but I am going to circle back on a number of things, as we often do directly. I'll circle back, circle back. I hate to disappoint you. Circle back, that's an excellent question. Circle back, circle back. I hate to disappoint you, but we will venture to circle back with all of you.
Think cocaine or not? What do you think?
This is such a good question. I have not had the opportunity to dig into that. I'll circle back.
It was a massive dump. To this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from.
I'm not aware of anything, but we'll circle back.
This uncircumcised Philistine, who does he think he is?
As a mom myself, I want to know all the details. I have to circle back.
Come on, man. You know what I mean?
I will venture to get you an answer on that, and maybe we can talk about it, and you'll circle back. I will have to circle back on that one. Circle back. But we'll circle back. Circle back. But I will have to circle back with you. Circle back. Let me give you a very specific example. I'll circle back. Circle back. I hate to disappoint you. Circle back. That's an excellent question. Circle back. I hate to disappoint you, but we will venture to circle back.
This president knew back in January. Why didn't he tell us? Why did he warn us?
There are a number of ways to combat misinformation. One of them is circle back.
You told us that Trump was invincible and Hillary was in a prison, right?
I don't really have any predictions for you on that. I can circle back. Let me see if I can get more detail for you on that. Circle back.
I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Did you?
We'll try to get to as many questions as possible. I'll circle back. I don't have anything more for you. And that communication has been lacking.
This one gets stuck in my head. Same.
You know, let me give you a very specific example. I'll circle back. I hate to disappoint you. Circle back. That's an excellent question. Circle back. I hate to disappoint you, but we will venture to circle back with all of you.
What the fuck, bro?
Amazing. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Hey, the Kevin, how's it going? Cheats reporters for breakfast, true. Alright folks, it is about that time. I think that was a perfect way to end the stream. Right now, I know it was a bit doomer, but we ended up in page 51. 51. I think we did almost 10 pages. Great. So all we have is up to here, before they start giving us all the models and stuff. Actually, not that bad. I think we can cover it in a couple of streams. I think we're getting closer and closer. There's so many people on the left hyping up Jen whenever she breathes in Ducey's direction. True. I would want to shoot myself with that much reading. Oh yeah, no, but it has to be done. The Kevin. And this isn't even the real full 3,900 and something pages. Oh man. Alright folks, unfortunately that is all the time I have today. I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out here. Thank you so much Darknet, thank you Spread It Forward. I appreciate all the support that you guys have given. You guys are what makes this channel grow. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to join the Discord, the YouTubes, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that awesome stuff. I appreciate all the new follows, all the subscriptions, all the gifted subs, the biddies. Thank you so much, Heat. Thank you so much, Heat, Sir Yogi, Alio, and Written Backwards. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for all of the support. Surfer Girl Gritty, Chai Bureaucrat, all of you guys are what makes this channel grow. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope I got everybody. Make sure you follow all the wonderful folks in chat. Just shout me out. Yeah, of course. Of course. Why not? Twitch.tv/heat_420. Heat420_. There we go. Click the link, folks. Stay safe out there, folks. You stay safe. Thank you. I appreciate that, Heat. As always, please stay safe. Take care of each other. Au revoir, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya! Alright, folks. Stay with us here. Alright, let's circle back to Bleep Blop Ben. Let's just circle back. Let's head out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go!